Namaste, everyone, and welcome to today's yoga session. Today, during our initial centering, I will be narrating some of the Yoga Sutras. So, just a background about Yoga Sutras. Yoga Sutras is a series of aphorisms which were compiled around 2500 years ago by sage Patanjali, and it is divided into four chapters, and it kind of summarizes the whole journey of a yogi and what yoga is, and it goes into a lot of depth. Um, there is a lot of deep philosophical meaning and background to every little aphorism. So a lot of people have written commentaries on it. You can check it out on the internet or read some books. But today we won't be d diving too much into the philosophical aspect of it, nor are we going to discuss it too much. But I'll still mention the first three or four, how it begins. It starts with defining what yoga is. And the reason I'm doing it is to kind of set a theme, and we'll be trying uh, today's practice, we'll be practicing keeping that theme in mind. So at the end of the session, if there are any questions around that, we can discuss that as well. So, and some of you who do not know Sanskrit, so I will mention the Sanskrit phrase, and then I'll also try to give the meaning of each word in it, and then give the overall context. But I'll give you my version of it, my interpretation, and just a loose translation, because it's hard to kind of find the exact translation for it. So let's begin in a comfortable seated position, keeping the shoulders relaxed, placing the back of the palms on the knees. You can also place the palms down if that feels more comfortable. And keeping the facial muscles relaxed, just close your eyes. The Yoga Sutras is an excellent document on how the mind functions and what yoga really is, and how the practice of yoga can allow us to untangle ourselves from all the suffering that we incur during our life. The first chapter of Yoga Sutra is called Sadhana Pada. Sadhana means your practice. And so it begins with, I'm sorry, the first chapter is Samadhi Pada. The second one is Sadhana Pada. Samadhi means being one with the witness inside you, or you can call it soul, or you can call it God, being fully absorbed in it to the extent where the sense of individual identity is lost. That state of highest absorption is called samadhi. And so the first chapter is called Samadhi Pada. Pada simply means chapter. And I'll begin with the first few aphorisms where sage Patanjali discusses what yoga is. So I would suggest, as you listen to this, simply keep an open mind and keep half of your attention on the breath and the body as you listen to these words. I'll simply share my interpretation, and then we can keep that at the back of the mind as we continue today's practice. The first sutra is called Atha Yoganushasanam. Atha means now, and Yoga Nushasanam, Anushasan means the discipline. So he begins simply by saying, and now the discipline of yoga. So it can also be thought of as the beginning of a commentary, but I believe that he purposely used the word now because the essence of yoga is being in the now, and yoga can only be practiced if your entire attention is in the now, in the present moment. Moving on, the second sutra is where he defines what yoga is. He says, Yogash chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga, chitta, I'll just lay out the different words in this one. Chitta means we can loosely translate it to mind, even though it's not the exact translation. Chitta vritti. Vritti means waves or disturbances. And nirod means uh, controlling them or a cessation of them. So if we look at it simplistically, it means yoga is a state of being when the mind, all the little patterns, all the little waves, all the little disturbances in the mind, which are thoughts, when all of them are stilled, controlled, or a cessation of that happens. In other words, the mind becomes completely still. That state of being is yoga. The next sutra is Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Tada means and then. Drashtu. Drashtuhu is the seer, the witness. Swarupe avasthanam. Swarup is your own form or self. So overall, the whole phrase means that the seer or the witness inside you will then come to the surface and it will know itself. It will know who it is. So if we look at it overall, it means yoga is the cessation of all the different disturbances, or in other words, yoga means when the mind becomes still, and then the seer or the witness inside will reveal itself and will know who it is. And I will just continue for one more phrase. The next sutra is Vritti Sarupya Mitaratra. I'll just give the direct translation for this. It means until and unless that happens, until and unless the stilling of the mind happens, the vrittis or the disturbances or the thoughts or the ripples on the surface of the mind, we believe ourselves to be that. So just to summarize all the sutras, he begins with, and now the discipline of yoga. Yoga is the cessation of all the disturbances in the mind. Therefore, when the mind becomes still, the seer inside reveals itself, and then we can know who we truly are. Until and unless that happens, all these ripples, all the thoughts, all the concepts is what we believe that we are. So that is an introduction to the Yoga Sutras. Every sutra can be dissected much more, can be talked about from many different angles. But we are not doing this today to intellectualize anything or use the mind or intellect to dissect anything. It's a simple message that the witness in you must come to the surface. And that will happen through the practice that we do today and the daily practice. But how we practice is what matters. So today we'll be practicing some postures, some pranayama. Every posture, every pranayama, every breath is an opportunity to see, am I the witness? Am I the one doing the pose, or the body is doing the pose, the mind is listening to the instructions, whereas I am in the background watching it all happen? So that is a practice. Let us try to invoke this witness inside us for the next couple of minutes. By being in silence, I might give a couple of instructions. The witness inside of us is always there, but it's always in the background, and therefore we often don't pay attention to it. But right now, in this moment, with your eyes closed, if you can sense your physical body completely, taking the attention from the top to the bottom, all the sensations. If you go deeper, you can feel the energy, the life force in all parts of the body, the sense of aliveness. You can also feel your subtle breath going in and out. If we go deeper, you can notice that sometimes there are thoughts that come up. Maybe the mind has a commentary right now. Maybe you're feeling a certain way listening to all of this. And what if you go beyond that? Isn't there someone inside you which knows all of this, which can see all of this, which can feel the sensations, the breath, which can notice the thoughts? That is the witness. And the whole practice is for us to get established in that witness. In other words, the whole practice is to relax ourselves to the point where the witness rises up, comes to the forefront. But when I say relax, it doesn't mean the kind of relaxation that we do when we lie down or go to sleep. Relaxing means letting go of our various identifications, all our ideas of rights and wrongs. In other words, surrender. It is only when we can become open, and it is only when we can allow something higher to channel through us that the witness can come up. So, with that intention, let us begin today's session. We'll begin with 5 deep breaths to energize the body. Take a deep inhalation and exhale it all out. Continue for 4 more rounds at your own pace. Once you finish the 5 rounds, let your breath go back to its natural rhythm and blink open your eyes. Let's begin with a few simple stretches and then we'll come into a standing position for some poses. So first, let's do Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of your feet together, intertwine the fingers, wrap it around the feet, keeping the spine straight. Just start flapping your legs. Let the body breathe naturally. And even though there is a movement happening in the body, can you go into being a witness, allowing the body to do what it does? You are the one simply watching it all happen. Now stop the movement. Draw the feet away from you and place your fingers down, palms down, and slowly walk your fingers forward. So, again, this is an opportunity. Let the body extend naturally instead of you putting any effort or force. Just keep walking the fingers forward with every exhalation. Let the body stretch itself. And then, when you cannot stretch anymore, you can relax your head down, letting the forehead come towards the feet. Now, as you inhale, lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Stretch your arms out, but keep reaching forward as if you're trying to grab something in front of you. And once again, place the hands down, relax the head down. And this time, when you inhale, lift your hands up, come up all the way. Exhale, relax your hands. Now, from this position, we'll move into the ankle to knee pose, also known as square pose. So, for this, place one leg in front of you like this, and the opposite leg, the ankle, will come over the knee like this. So, you might notice that the top knee is kind of in line with the opposite ankle. So, that's what we want. And there might be some distance like there is for mine. That's okay. So from this place, lift your hands up as you inhale. As you exhale, we'll do the same thing. Slowly reaching forward and then placing the hands down. You will notice this is a deep stretch for the hips. And now if you feel comfortable, just relax your head down. Maybe walk your fingers forward a little more. Try to breathe comfortably. As you inhale, slowly start walking the fingers back, lifting the hands up. Exhale, relax. Now we will switch legs. So bring the other leg in front of you, and then the opposite ankle comes over the knee. Just check your alignment. Both the ankles and knees are kind of in line. From this position, lift your hands up, inhale. As you exhale, reach forward, placing the hands down. Walking the fingers forward slightly. Now, even though there is a deep stretch, can you just breathe and relax and watch it, allowing the body to open up and slowly as you inhale, walk the fingers back, lifting the hands up, exhale, relax. Just shake out your legs now and sit down comfortably. We'll finish our warm up with some shoulder rolls and neck stretches. So as you inhale, lift the shoulders up, squeeze the shoulder blades, bring it down, complete the circle. Keep going. Try to match your breath with the movement. Reverse the direction. One last round and relax. Let us do 360-degree neck rotation. So let your head fall down. Slowly and mindfully. See if you can do this in the most effortless way, as if the body is doing it on its own. Reverse the direction. And one last round. Now come to a standing position. We will go through a round of sun salutation, um, a different modified sun salutation. So come to the top of your mat. And keeping your feet shoulder width apart, just stand up tall, roll the shoulders back, palms together as you exhale. As you inhale, lift your hands up, slightly look up. You can push the hips forward, gently bend the knees. Try to do a backward bend. As you exhale, bend the knees slightly and find your forward fold. Stay here for a few seconds, feeling that nice stretch in the back of the legs. Now bend the knees and take your right leg back. Take a big step back and we'll place the knee down, but do not untuck your toes. So just keep it like this. Take your hands off the floor and now see if you can gently sink your hips down, lifting the hands up, palms together. And from here, a gentle back bend as you sink the hips down. Just breathe. As you exhale, bring the palms down, lift the knee, take the left leg back, plank position. Stay in the plank position. Now we'll move into Vashishtasana, side plank. If side plank is a little difficult for you, let me first show you what it is. It looks like this. If this is too much for you, you can place the one leg down. So if you're doing on the right leg, the left leg will come down and you can get that support. Otherwise, from the plank position, come into your side plank. Just breathe comfortably and then come back to the plank. As you inhale, go into the side plank on the other side. As you exhale, come down into plank. From plank, we'll do knees, chest, and chin down. And from here, slowly as you inhale, Find your cobra pose, Bhujangasana, using the back muscles, lifting the chest and rib cage off the floor. Breathe. As you exhale, push yourself up, downward facing dog. Take a step forward with the feet. Comfortable breathing. And bend the knees, look forward. Bring the right leg forward. Place the left knee down. Take your hands off the floor. Palms together over the head. Gentle back bend as you sink the hips. Bring the hands down. Lift the knee. Take a step forward with the left leg. Forward fold. Stretch your arms out first. Come up. Palms together. Gentle back bend. And exhale. Prayer pose. Release the hands. Just breathe. As you allow the breath to become natural, notice how much effort you put into all of these poses. And ask yourself, how can I minimize the effort or the feeling of effort that can happen if you engage all of your body through all the poses? So this second half that we will do now, try to use the entire body in every pose. Don't let any of the body parts be passive. And see if you can also become the witness. In other words, you're watching the body do the poses. So let's begin. Palms together, Namaskarasana. As you exhale, inhale, palms up, gentle back bend. Exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, slowly take a step back with the left leg. Place the left knee down. Come up, palms together, gentle back bend. As you exhale, hands down. Take the right leg back, plank position. As you inhale, side plank on the right side. Exhale, plank. Inhale, side plank on the left side. Exhale, plank. Knees, chest, and chin down. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay here for a few seconds. Maybe take a step forward with your feet. Bend the knees, look forward. Bring your left leg forward. Right knee down. Hands over the head. Gentle back bend. Exhale. Bring the right leg forward. Forward fold. Stretch your arms out. Inhale, come up. Palms together, gentle back bend. Exhale, Namaskarasana. Release the hands. Increase the distance between your feet. Let the breath come back to its natural rhythm. The more you pay attention to everything that's happening in this moment, the more you allow the witness to come up. And if thoughts occur, there is no way that we can stop it or suppress it. The only choice that we have is to not give them too much importance and keep bringing our attention back to what's happening in this moment. Now, let's practice a couple of balancing poses. So first we will practice Vrikshasana. In Vrikshasana, you keep your feet shoulder width apart first. Now shifting your weight onto the right side, just lift your left foot off the floor. So you can keep it like this if you want just a simple variation, or you can lift it up here, or you can also lift it up all the way to the inner thigh. Keep the standing leg engaged. Keep the bent leg engaged as well. Don't just let this become passive. Now find your balance here first. Are you able to breathe comfortably? Is any part of the body tensed? If so, make some changes. Find a variation where you can stay comfortable. The whole body can stay as a whole. Now, if possible, bring the palms together. Keep breathing comfortably. Try to keep your gaze at one point, maybe on the screen right now, or maybe at some other point. Not focusing too much, but also not allowing the eyes to move here and there. Now, if possible, you can lift your hands up, maybe open up your palms, and maybe sway your hands a little bit. How comfortable can you be in a pose like this? And there is no need to push yourself. Bring the palms together, bring them down. It's always nice to understand what the limitations are and what variations work for you today. So slowly we'll come out of the pose, relaxing the hands, relaxing the leg, coming out with control. Shake it out. Let's do it on the other side. Shifting the weight onto the left. You can lift your right leg up wherever you want, how much ever you want. If you do decide to bring it up all the way, make sure that this bent leg is also active. It's not just relying on this on the standing leg. So we are trying to engage the whole body. Once you feel comfortable here, and how do you know if you're comfortable? If you're able to just breathe naturally. It doesn't mean that you have to move your body too much, but natural breath should be there. And no part of the body should be tensed. Palms together. Lift your hands. Open up the palms. Let the hands sway. All of these are just options. You need not do all of them. But whatever you are doing, see if you can sense that it is the body and the mind combination that is doing all of this. The mind says, bring the palms together, and the body follows. Can you become the witness that is aware of all of this happening? Bring the palms down, release the hands, and release the leg. Shake it out, and just stand comfortably, maybe close your eyes, go back to being in presence. So, of course, being a witness is more difficult when the eyes are open, when we are doing postures, but it's still a good practice. The real practice has to begin with just sitting in silence with eyes closed. and watching the breath or watching the sensations of the body. In other words, just being. So let's practice the next balancing pose. We will be practicing dancer pose, Natarajasana. So keep your feet shoulder width apart, and from this place, shift your weight onto the left side and bend your right leg. See if you can grab hold of the right leg, right foot like this. So this is called a shoelace grip. My hands and fingers are where my shoelaces would be if I were wearing shoes. Fingers and thumbs together. Now just look straight. First, see if you can find your balance over here. Now from here, start to kick this leg back slightly and gently start bending forward. You can stretch your left hand forward. And if you think you have the balance over here, you can make Chin Mudra or Gyan Mudra with your left hand. Now you have to keep the back leg engaged and keep kicking it back gently with control to keep that balance. And if you lose your balance, no problem. Just try it again. Comfortable breathing. Slowly come back and relax. So all the wobbling and everything will happen like it was happening for me. In that case, it is also advisable to stand next to a wall and you can place the other arm on the wall. So let's try the other side now. I'll just turn to the other side. Grab your left foot with the left hand. Find that balance first. Start to take it back. Start kicking it back. Not placing too much effort, but a constant engagement of the leg. Stretch your right arm out. Maybe chin mudra with that. Comfortable pace of breathing. Slowly as you inhale, come out of the pose. Shake it out. And now, slowly we'll come down on the mat. So let's practice Malasana. Heels inside, toes outside. Sit down. Adjust the distance between your legs or the ankle if you need to. Elbows inside the knees, palms together. Draw your palms back, straight in the back. Just breathe. With every exhalation, relax the body more and more. Let it open up. Everything that you're feeling, even the deep stretches, are simply sensations. Now, with the support of your hands, sit down. Settle down comfortably. Sit down in a position where you can keep the body still. Hands can be in Chin Mudra. Let us go into a deeper meditative state where not much movement is happening in the body. We might do a pranayama in between. But more importantly, let us try to turn inwards. You can keep your eyes closed. Begin simply by noticing what's happening on a physical level. Can you sense the breath going in and out? Can you quickly scan your body and check to see if everything is relaxed? Can you also check if any part of the body is passive, just relying on some other part? If so, can you engage it? By engaging it, I do not mean that you tense it. Simply become aware of it. Imagine if all the body parts are holding their own weight. Can you feel that sense of lightness and ease? The breath is still happening, and you are still watching it. You can blink open your eyes if you want. We will be practicing Anulom Vilom, alternate nostril breathing. If you already know how to do this, just begin. With the right hand, we will make Nashika Mudra, bending the forefinger and the middle finger. And so, with the thumb, I'll be blocking my right nostril. With the ring and the pinky, I'll be blocking the left, like this. This will allow the facilitation of alternate nostril breathing. Now I'll just instruct how to begin. Inhale with both nostrils. Exhale with both. Inhale with the left. Exhale with the right. Inhale with the right. Exhale on the left. Just like this, keep going. Now, as you practice this, try to relax the breath as much as possible. You are not putting in any effort to inhale or exhale. The inhalation simply happens on one side. When the inhalation ends, you simply block that one and open the other so that the exhalation can happen on the other side. So you are simply facilitating the opening and closing of the nostrils. The inhalation and exhalation is happening through the body. You are not the one doing that. So try to reach or keep moving in that direction of effortlessness. Ask yourself, am I practicing this mechanically, or is my entire attention on the movement of the breath? Am I following the inhalations and exhalations without getting lost in thought? Finish the last round now with an exhalation on the left side. After you finish, relax your hands, keeping the eyes closed. Go back into stillness. Keep the body as still as possible. Let the breath be natural and subtle. And allow ease and surrender to flow into the mind. The stillness of the mind is not in our control, so to speak. I can definitely command my body to be still, and I can even command my mind to be still, but the mind will not stay still after a while. Each and every one of us have this living entity inside of us that we can call the mind or the ego, which will think compulsively no matter what you do. So then what is it that we can possibly do? We can stop fighting against it, simply allowing it to be, bringing more ease, less friction, less struggle, less effort, bringing more and more effortlessness. But at all times, being completely watchful. In other words, whatever comes into the mind, acknowledge it fully, watch it fully, be aware of it, but in a dispassionate way, not liking one thought over the other. No matter what the mind says, it is simply a thought, nothing more and nothing less. You can continue this meditation sitting up, or if you wish, you can lie down on your back, coming into Shavasana. Whatever position you have chosen, we will now practice a very specific meditation where we try to watch the natural breath. When we watch the breath, we generally feel the air coming in and out of the nostrils. But there is another subtler aspect of the breath happening every moment. When the inhalation happens, a certain energy rises up from the navel and it goes up to the forehead, to the third eye, the Anya chakra. And when the exhalation happens, the energy just releases and goes back to the navel. This subtle movement of energy is always happening with every breath. Can you sense it? At first, you might have to visualize that this is happening, moving your attention from the navel to the forehead during the inhalation and back down during the exhalation. So let's try to watch this for the next couple of minutes. Make sure body is relaxed. Make sure the breath is natural as you practice this. The more still you can become at the level of the body, the easier it will be to sense this. Sometimes you might also have to adjust your body posture, making sure that the spine is erect. This movement of energy is happening in the central channel, also known as Sushumna Nadi. So if you keep your body relaxed and deeply listen to it, it will automatically adjust and find that right posture. It's totally okay if you do not sense this movement of subtle energy right now. Simply know that this is how it is. It does happen and you can sense it. The more you just sit, watch the breath, be in stillness, visualize, all these little things can help. And of course, a regular practice. Sooner or later, you will start sensing it. So for now, continue to be in this state of meditation as I play the Tibetan meditation bell. Simply take in the sound, follow it with your awareness. This is just another way to keep the mind in one place, and also for awareness to become aware of itself. I'll talk about this more later, but for now, I'll just play the bell. Gently, you can invite some movement in the body if you're in Shavasana. Take your time, give yourself a stretch, turn to the side and come up to a seated position. And let us bring our palms together in front of the chest. Because we ruminated over the Yoga Sutras today, I will chant a chant which is an invocation and a gratitude towards sage Patanjali, who compiled the Yoga Sutras all those centuries ago. And he has also worked in the field of Ayurveda and also the grammar of Sanskrit language. So this chant talks about all of those things. I will chant and you can simply be in stillness. योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचाम् मलं शरीरस्य च वेद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनाम् पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि We are simply thanking Sage Patanjali for creating or propagating yoga for the mind, Ayurveda for the body, and Sanskrit grammar for the speech. And gently, you can relax your hands, open your eyes. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.